Singer-songwriter Bob Dylan has been awarded this year's Nobel Prize in Literature, making him the first ever musical artist to win the award in that category.
Valley View News reporter Sophie Ashley spoke with the CSUN English professor Brian Rockwell about the musician's latest accomplishments.
Thank you. I'm Sophie Ashley, and I'm sitting here with English professor Brian Rockwell. Thank you for being here today.
Glad to be here, Sophie.
Bob Dylan recently won the Nobel Prize for Literature, making it the first time a musician has won. The Nobel Prize is often controversial because of it being the world's highest honor for literature. Why is a musician receiving this award?
I think the Nobel Committee is trying to broaden what it means by literature. Usually people, when they think of literature, they think bound between two books, very, hard copy kind of thing. But I think the Nobel Committee is trying to show that literature is more about the narratives and the stories being told and the impact that a writer has. And I think of any other writer, Bob Dylan's probably had the greatest impact on both American literature and worldwide literature. So I think he's well deserving of the award.
What do you think makes him qualified for receiving it?
I think a lot of it has to do with his popularity, even though the Nobel Committee might not like that answer. I mean, he's been around for decades. He's been creating tons and tons of music. He's one of the most cited individuals of any genre of writing or music or anything like that. So I think that just his impact on culture, the fact that he's still around today and still doing concerts out in the desert, I think that really makes him qualified for the award.
Speaking of, the different ways he's impacted, what is Bob Dylan's impact on people who grew up listening to him in the 60s and saw the transformation from folk to rock music?
I think it was an interesting transition because going from that folk to rock, when Bob Dylan plugged in that guitar the first time, I think it showed people that folk wasn't just this kind of off the beaten path musical tradition. It's not something where people have to be in the backwaters or the backwoods of areas. Like, it's something that is a part of the popular American culture. It's something that will influence people a lot. And I think that in the 60s and 70s, people started saying that what they thought were these kind of more out there ideas were actually something that could be part of the mainstream. And that's when you saw the fighting back against the wars, when you see things like the protests at the schools. I think a lot of that was impacted by Dylan, by his music, and just by the general feeling that he created in the air with all the other musicians of the 60s.
Do you think that song lyrics have the same artistic value as poetry or novels?
I honestly think they do. I really feel that song lyrics can have that same merit and that same impact on a person. I myself teach the musical Hamilton, actually, and I teach it as literature, as poetry. And I think that the line between music and literature, the line between poetry and song, isn't nearly as defined, isn't nearly as high of a wall as people think it is.
Yeah. Is there anyone else you feel would be deserving for this prize other than Bob Dylan?
It's a difficult question. I understand a lot of the controversies that have been brought up about Bob, but I really think that he is well deserving of the award. There are definitely other songwriters, other authors out there who haven't received the acclaim that they deserve, but I don't think I could fault the Nobel Committee on this decision. I think he has had such an impact that it is deserving for him to be the Nobel Prize winner.
And lastly, I wanted to ask, what does this mean for the future of Nobel Prize?
I think it means, at least in terms of the arts, that we have more openness to interpreting who could get the Nobel Prize for Literature. I think it means that we can see people from popular culture, we can see more musicians, rock musicians, hip-hop musicians, anyone who has an impact and anybody whose writing is meaningful and culturally significant, I think now has the opportunity for that award. It's not going to be trapped in any kind of limited field anymore. I think it's something now where every writer can aspire to it. I think it's open to everyone now.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm Sophie Ashley. Back to you.